lots of thanks to Mark for supporting us, because without the funding from SPRITE Plus, this collaboration would not have worked. So both Aniekan and I, we graduated from the same PhD program back in Manchester, and we were looking forward to do something together in our new universities. And here we go. That was the funding opportunity. We are both interested in trust, building trust both from technology side and from the social side. So this event and this project generally focuses on the on balancing both. So there is currently a need to improve trust building in the context of digital transformation, because lots of, if we take a supply chain level of analysis, for example, you will see that lots of companies, they want to establish collaborations very fast when there is a urgent request to do some job for a large scale company, let's say Airbus, Boeing, all of these large industrial giants. So smaller firms are extremely important. They have they contribute drastically to innovation potential. Sometimes they provide extra capacities, but if you don't have a trust to the company, this company usually is put aside. So that is one of the dimensions we were looking after. Another dimension was more B2C dimension. It's trust between citizens and new technology. For example, digital currency, which was recently announced as a matter of fact will be introduced in the UK in the matter of years, and lots of projects are currently being run in other countries. So here, our main interest is to balance the needs to urgently build trust, either to technology or to partner, and at the same time, the nature of humans, like the social part of the story, that we require social interactions, we require time, we require some social capital, in order to build a trust and have some confidence in business partner or in a technology. So how we decided to go further, like the literature review haven't brought us much interesting findings, although we have done a systematic review of literature. And we decided, thanks for the funding, to go for a interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary workshop, right, to attract different groups of people, from academics to practitioners, from various domains. We had even a speaker coming from Austria, and to try to bridge together all of these different technologies, which are usually studied and researched from the computer science perspective. Then we have social aspects, as I mentioned, some of them already, so aspects related to humans, which are studied by social scientists, and then we have also the somewhat unifying topic of trust building and ecosystems, which comprises both. And the workshop has been held in a beautiful Clifton House of the University of Bristol. They were very hospitable. It was absolutely fantastic day. We were very glad that, Mark, you could have joined us that day. So you can see the workshop content which we planned and executed. So after the keynote, we had parallel sessions along the themes which I just mentioned. So every theme we expect to deliver a paper after that. So because we had some preliminary developments already, and so the workshop became a very important part of validation cycle. So after the parallel session, a lunch break, we had a talk from members of the senior management team of the University of Bristol, talk from Mark about SPRITE Plus. Lots of people got interested in the schema, and I hope SPRITE Plus will get much more members after the event. And finally, we had a workshop discussing all of these ideas, interdisciplinary ideas, and finished with afternoon tea. So what we found. So first of all, I mentioned the contrast between the needs of speed in building trust and the time and effort which we used to do it classically, and it actually really doesn't work in many cases nowadays. So technology can be either a barrier and enabler of trust. That's what we have seen. So the successful examples of blockchain implementation and the digital currencies implementation can reinforce trust, but at the same time, if it's applied in a chaotic, non-structured way, we saw that as a barrier. So in particular, the keynote highlighted the experiment of applying digital currencies, or even early service with the potential citizens in Austria, how to apply central bank digital currencies, which the technology really requiring trust, because it's about our savings, right? And the similar thought has been highlighted. So, but the recurring theme was that there is a need to reinforcing relationships. So kind of the step by step relationship between technological side of trust building and social side of trust building. So as such as blockchain will never replace completely the need for social interactions, as well as if we only rely on social interactions, we will not get it there with the digital world. So we have to balance both. We have to make sure that technology doesn't replace human element. We have to make sure that there are specific skills attained by both workers and companies and citizens if we are introducing such a high-tech to them, and to make sure that the benefits are well understood by companies and by citizens. So 3 papers are currently in progress, which we hope that will be published over the next few years, and three of them, of course, will acknowledge and thank SPRITE Plus for their support. I'll just highlight perhaps the findings of 2 of them. The first one, which was like the whole background of the workshop, was about this, how to find the synergy between socially enabled trust and technologically enabled trust. So if like talking about the social element of trust building, we initially step into cultural understanding, technological readiness, this problem of too much time and effort when we need it rapidly, so in a swift way. When we step into technology side, we see the barriers to upskilling, the need for investments into architecture. For example, if we're talking about dimension CBDC, we need a specific investment into digital infrastructure and making sure that citizens understand what's going on. Cybersecurity was highlighted as a huge risk, of course, from the technological side. And what is important is that we actually create a new social technical culture based on this balancing social, as we call social dimension of trust and technological dimension on trust, so that yes, people continue building trust in iterations like social dimension, but they start applying the tools. So like the tools reinforce the existing iteration. So we don't use technology as, somewhat binary element replacing what was before. So that's kind of the new culture will form an ecosystem where we will see the shared values, the shared norms, when we will see the shared understanding, how both blockchain and CBDC are applied, and that will increase adoption. The famous technology adoption model tells about that perceived usefulness, right? That would be clearly upgraded by the new culture. So, and as for B2B perspective, this is a conceptual model from the second study. What we see that if businesses,
you've got 1 minute, Nikolai.
Yes, just ramping up. The Swift trust along B2B dimension will be also built iteratively. Here, there will be firstly the Swift trust to core team, then the core team will expand Swift Trust for their supply chain, and then we will have the third phase when the supply chain partners will bring their own partners into this shared culture, which I have underlined in the previous slide. So this was here we used the example of the famous ventilator project UK, ventilator challenge UK project during COVID-19. It's one of the case studies of Swift Trust I'm currently using. Yeah, so workshop feedback generally super positive. We haven't received at least even one negative message, which was great, and I think that really thanks to Sprite Plus we were able to run it in a nice venue. Thanks again, Mark, for your help, and I'm looking forward for your feedback.